Hello everyone. Today we will see about BREs and how to use database facts with dataset binding type. And we will see how to invoke .NET assemblies from BRE. In our earlier session, we seen how to connect to database facts with data connection approach. So here is our existing process which receives a order request message and executes a BRE, which in turn connects to database using data connection approach and enriches the message, and we send the enriched message to the target system. Let's connect to the business rule composer and we'll connect to the database and we will see the table configurations. So we connect to product and product code table, and here if you see, database binding type is set to data connection. We can either use data connection or data table or data set approach. So here is our rule. The rule connects to product table and product code table. So both the tables are using data connection as database binding type. Now we will create a physical view table, view underscore product, which will contain the required information, columns of required information that we need it in our BRE. This will act as a view in design time purpose, and in runtime the data will be populated in dataset, which will in turn be populated in a typed data table. So coming back to the Fact Explorer, we will change the view product table database binding type to data table / data row. Now let us modify our orchestration code to fetch the data from database and populate a data set, and data set will be used to populate typed data table, which in turn will be passed to the BRE. So let's create the variables for dataset, SQL adapter, and then typed data table. Dataset is available in system.data.dataset, and SQL adapter is available in system.data.sql, SQL client.sql data adapter. Let's add a variable of typed data table from Microsoft.rule engine. We have to create a connection variable where we will be passing to the SQL adapter, and SQL adapter will fill the data set, and we name the data set as BizTalkDJ, which will be the database name, the data view will be view table, which is the physical table name. So here is the query that we will use it to fetch the data from the table by doing join condition and populate it in the data set. So our lookup related product code value is available in single data set. Now let's go back to our rule and modify the rule to use the data from view table, and the view table that we designed is only for development purpose. In runtime we will execute the rule against the data set, which is converted to a typed data table. Now let us deploy the rule and then restart the rule engine service. As we have changed the rule to use dataset approach, we have to make corresponding changes in orchestration. So let's pass the typed data table now. Let me take out the connection close expression shape. Let me build the orchestration and deploy the orchestration. I will restart the host instance and process a file. So I will change the product name to title, and this should fetch the value from the dataset and update it as TO. Now let's try to invoke .NET Assembly. In order to invoke .NET Assembly, we should first enable the static support for the BRE. We would add a registry dword and rename it as static support and set the value as 1. So we should do it in either 32-bit folder or 64-bit folder. Let's create a class library project where we will add a helper class, BRE helper class, which will be invoked from the BRE. I will make the class as a serializable class. I will provide the sign-in details. Let me add an existing item, which is a XML helper class provided by Microsoft. So Microsoft has already written certain static methods to add or add a node with value from the BRE. I will reuse these methods in my BRE helper class. On top of it, I will add certain property functions and count node method. I would add a reference of Microsoft.rule engine as typed XML document is available in Microsoft.rule engine, and XML node is available in system.xml. Now let's create a BRE. I would name the BRE as BizTalkDJ.validateRequest, which will validate my order request. So it would have two rules, one to validate for the event code and other to validate the product name. I have created vocabularies to read the event code and created a constant vocabularies to have the XPath for status node and failure node. So I would use a contains predicate and bring in the event code, and my event code should be either 100 or 101. If not, then I would add error nodes in my action part. Error nodes would be added to our order request schema from BRE. Let me build and gag the BRE helper class. Now in our Fact Explorer, I will browse and select the assembly BizTalkDJ.utilities. Now you can see our static members as well as the public members available in the assembly. So in order to add a node from BRE, we would use add node method, which is a static member. It takes three parameters: document, XPath and node name. So document is nothing but the message that we pass to the BRE. Let me browse and select the schema, and I would map the document type to the document, and then the XPath will be, I have to first add the failure node. I will specify the failure node XPath and provide the node name as status. This will be the first status that we add. Then we can add node with value. So I would map the document name and provide the XPath as status XPath, and provide error node as error code and value as invalid code. So in order to add error description, we would again use the static member, add node with value, map the document XPath and specify the node as error description and provide the error description. So now we have created a rule for validating the event code. Similarly, we will create a rule for product name. We can copy paste and modify the same rule. And we will change the conditions to validate against product name and change the error description and error code according to the product validation. Now let's add a default rule which will try to read the updated message to check for the error status count. This rule will have the least priority, and I will use the node count to read the count of the failures and set my execution outcome using the set property. So I will map the document and then provide the XPath of the status. I will publish and deploy the rule. Restart the rule engine service. Now we would configure our orchestration to execute the new rule using call rule shape, and I will select the validate request BRE and pass the order request message. Let me add the reference of our class library which has the BRE helper utility. I would add a variable and make it as a .NET class variable and choose BRE helper class. I would create an instance of the BRE helper class and pass it to the BRE. This is because we would be using the execution outcome which is a public member in the helper class. I would log the execution outcome in the event log. Let me build and deploy the solution. So here is my order request message where I would be passing an empty element of validation node and failure node. So from BRE, in case of any failure, it would add the status node which will contain error description and error code. let us process a valid order request with event code as 100 and proper product name as title. I have processed the file, and here is my output, and if you see, there are no failure notes added to it. Let's see the event log entry. Failure count is 0. This is because we processed a valid file. Let us again process a invalid order request file. I will provide invalid event code and product name, and here is the output. Here, as both event code and product name are invalid, 2 status nodes was added from our BRE, and validation output is set to 1. This is because we are reading the last status node only. Today we seen how to connect to database from BRE using dataset approach, and we seen how to execute static and non-static .NET assembly members. Thanks for watching the video.